Let's talk about Sheena Shea suggesting that Katie vented to Lala about Ariana off camera and shares where she stands with Lala now. Plus, Katie reacts to Lala on following her. So, this is according to Reality Blurb. It says Sheena Shea hinted that Katie Maloney went off on Lala about Ariana Madix off camera, or to Lala rather, about Ariana Madix off camera during a joint interview with Katie on Monday. As Katie37 reacted to Lala on following her on Instagram, claiming she was confused by the snub, the Vanderpump Rules star 38 suggested that Lala got upset at last month's reunion taping due to things Katie wouldn't admit to saying about Ariana. Okay. I'm going to get into what they said, and then I'm going to tell you what I think is actually going on here, okay? So a big thing at the reunion was Lala just kind of wanting everyone to tell the truth and the things that Katie and I have both vented to her about, whether it be about Ariana specifically, the sandwich shop, the show, whatever it may be. She just really wanted to say what we've said to her to everyone else, and I don't think she felt like everyone did that, Scheana shared during her and Katie's joint interview with Us Weekly on April 15th, not naming anyone by name. According to Scheana, who didn't reveal what Katie potentially said about Ariana or their yet to open sandwich shop, something about her, she said she definitely knows where her head's at. This is a tough group to navigate when something so big like this shakes it up, but I do absolutely understand where she's coming from, Scheana stated. Okay, whoever wrote this article, they need to go back to English school or whatever. That was a bunch of jumble. But I'm here to break it down and make it digestible for all of you guys. This is what I really think is going on. So, as we know, Lala Kent has unfollowed Katie Maloney and Ariana Madix. As we know, during this season, it's really been Scheana and Lala versus Ariana and Katie, where Scheana is kind of straddling the fence, where, she's talking about being upset about Dancing with the Stars, Ariana not really being there for her, but yet she's going to ride for Ariana till she dies. But then she kind of wants to be friends with Tom again. So she's kind of striding the fence. Lala, on the other hand, is being very vocal and being like, listen, sweetheart, like, you can't tell us not to hang out with Tom Sandoval and you still choose to live with him. Now, on that aspect, I disagree with Lala, because if I'm Ariana, I'm not moving out of a house that I put my money in, spent my time on, my name is on. Absolutely not, until it is the absolute right move for me financially and emotionally and mentally and spiritually and all of the things. So when it comes to the house stuff, I'm team Ariana. I'm not going anywhere until it's right for me to go if I spent my money and my time and my name is on it. Absolutely not. So when it comes to the house stuff, I'm definitely team Ariana. However, with the other part of it, I'm team Lala, because Lala's basically just like, listen, chick, you never rocked with me. You never had my back. You were just kikiing with him when he was cussing all us girls out. He was cussing out me. He was cussing out Katie. He was cussing out Stassi. Damn, he was cussing out Lisa Vanderpump, if we're keeping it all the way real. He was very disrespectful to Lisa, but Lisa took it because she kind of favors the boys. The way he treated Kristen, Tom Sandoval has a history of competing with and disrespecting women. And so Lala's like, look, just because now it's you, why should I be ride or die for you when you've never been ride or die for me? I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but my life ain't about to stop because of you. And to that point, what I really think is going on with Lala versus Ariana is Lala is trying to keep the show going. She's trying to keep the show on the air. I think, and she pretty much said this in one of her podcasts or one of her Amazon Lives, where she was like, yeah, I'm kind of concerned that like this season is riding on the shoulders of Ariana, who's never really brought anything to the show. And everything Lala has been doing, it's been in an effort. And I do think the producers are also telling Lala to do this stuff. Like, Lala, call Rachel, see if she will come back and film. So Lala's calling Rachel and leaving that weird voicemail. Lala, go to dinner with Joe, because Joe's in her confessionals. Like, well, the way into this group could be through Lala, and so Lala's meeting with Joe and doing everything else and making amends with Tom Sandoval, because the show has to go on, right? It has to be more than just Ariana being pissed off and yelling all the time and just being her little prissy self that she's like. That can't carry a show. And I agree with Lala. I would be concerned if, and she said this, she's like, for the last, however year she's been on the show, her number one moneymaker and the number one platform that generates her revenue, because let's be honest, if it wasn't for Vanderpump Rules, none of these people would have the revenue streams that they have, right? It's all based on being on this platform that they're then able to do the sweatshirts and the TV deals and the social media deals and the podcasts and the books and the tours and blah, 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 blah. The foundation of all of their revenue income, streams of income, is the platform. That is the foundation. Without that built-in audience, you're not getting these opportunities, right? And so Lala is basically like, listen, Ariana's good right now because, she's like the golden child. She's making all of this money. She's getting all of these brand deals. She's on Broadway. She'll be fine. But like, am I going to be fine? Is the rest of the team going to be fine? I don't want this money to stop. I still want to be on TV. I don't want Vanderpump Rules to get canceled. And I still want to have a platform to make more money. So I'm going to do what I need to do on this show to keep the show going. Because if you think about it, without Lala kind of stirring the pot, what would this season be? It would be fake. Let me just go and just talk about the season now that I've kind of backed into it, So what would it be? I don't believe that Katie and Tori and Tom Schwartz, their whole threesome, three-way, two exes going for the same girl, that to me is totally fake, totally contrived. I don't believe that storyline for 1 minute. We have Messy Boots Allie, who all she does is carries a bone. Low key, Allie is the messiest person on this show. She is so messy. She acts like she's so innocent. Like, let's just do these evil devil tarot cards and astrology for you guys. And I'm just, just want to be a little Taylor Swift person. No, chick, you are so messy. Because in this last episode, she goes to Katie and she goes, Lala said that you are miserable and that you're popping off and everything. Lala never said she was miserable. She said that I think that Katie is unhappy. And she totally blew that out. She was saying what she thought. It's like, well, Allie, do you think Katie is miserable? And that's why you said that? But this isn't the first time she's done that, right? Remember last season when she went to James and then she went to Ariana being like, oh, Katie said that like you and Tom had an open relationship and how it's so weird that Rachel and Tom were dancing at the Abbey, blah, 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 blah. But Katie never said that. It was Allie who was the one who said she saw them at the Abbey dancing and it was really weird. And are they open or are they not open or whatever? But she took that bone back to Ariana, totally threw Katie under the bus and put words in Katie's mouth that was never said. But nobody ever seems to check Allie. Allie is a sniper from the side. We got to watch out for her. And I'm still not convinced she's not completely like an AI bot that like James created or something. Like I'm still on the fence on whether or not Allie is like a bot or something. I'm not sure. But you got to watch out for her. And also I kind of feel like James is kind of getting his karma with the women he's with because he used Kristen. Quiet as it's kept, he used Tom Sandoval to gut in the show. He's been very honest about it. And every woman he dates, from Rachel to Allie, in my opinion, is using him to be on the show. All of a sudden, Allie wants to be a pop star, a country singer again, or whatever she's trying to do. She was on some reality show before, singing and acting and whatever. And now she's trying to sort of like do that now again. look, I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I'm not knocking anybody's dream, but it's giving a little opportunist and it's giving like she gives Rachel vibes. Just, their personalities are different, but they're kind of the same, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of what I feel like is going on there. But let's get back to the feud between Ariana, Sheena, Katie, and Lala. So that's where I think Lala's energy is really coming from. She's like, listen, I don't want this show to be canceled because this is how I make my money. And this is, how I make and I want to be on TV. I still want to have this level of Bravo fame. And then on the flip side of that, I think Lala's like, you never had my back. So I'm not really rocking with you because you never really rocked with me like that. And then even baked in on that, which I think is a bigger thing that Ariana seems to conveniently miss, is that a lot of these people on the cast have had their own beef with Tom Sandoval outside of Scandoval. So Lala, has been like, Tom, you've come at me over and over and over again. You talk about, how I got with Randall, my life, my lips, my money, my, sucking D for Range Rovers, blah, 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 whatever it is. You come at me, you call me a hypocrite, you call me all these things, but yet look what you were doing. And so Lala and Tom have been able to have their own resolution for the stuff that Lala had against Sandoval on her own personal level. So I think with Lala, she's like, listen, yeah, I had a beef with Sandoval. We've been able to talk through it. We've been able to have a resolution. I'm not going to harbor resentment against him for you when you've never had my back. And so that's why I'm team Lala on this. I do think she's getting to be a little bitter with it. I'm not sure why, but she has a little bit of bitterness now to it. I think if she just reined that bitterness back a little bit, it would be, I would be even more on her side, but there's a little bit of salty bitterness going on with all of it. But I do agree with the essence of it, with the spirit of it, with the sentiment of what she's saying. And to be honest with you, I would be the same exact way. If I'm Lala, Ariana, you've never had my back. I don't rock with you. I've made amends with him with the stuff he did against me personally. I want to keep this bag coming in. I still want to be on TV. Girl, show up. Clock in. This is your job. You saying who you're not going to film with, you making it difficult to keep the ball rolling. You're stopping everybody's bag. Good for you for being on Broadway, but what about our bags? So that's what I think is going on with Lala. With Scheana, I think what's going on with her is she is just like, when is it going to be my turn? Like, why is it not about me? Can it be about me? Why is it not about me? And I honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually really understand how Scheana feels. If I were Scheana, I would probably feel the same way because Sheena's always been a key player, but she's always been a beta player. She's always been in the mix. She's always been there. She's always been a part of things, but she's never been the lead. She's never been the star of the story. She's never been the queen of the season. And I get how for her that can make her feel some type of way. And then if we're being honest about it, Scheana got the rawest deal out of Scandoval. She had to go to court and fight charges on the restraining order. She's a mother, that cost money. That's a lot. She has Rachel here saying that she assaulted her. To be honest with you, Scheana really did get the biggest blow. She has Tom Sandoval out here being like, I don't give an F about you. We were never friends because that's how Tom is. Like, Tom is just pathetic. And I mean that in a genuine way. I don't mean it in a nasty way, like, oh, you're so pathetic. I don't mean it that way. I mean it in like the true sense of the word. Like, he's like a pathetic person. Like, you just look at him and he's grasping at straws. He looks sickly. He's still doing the same like delusional, narcissistic, ego-based thinking, but it's not landing because now everybody just sort of sees him for who he is. And all of the mask has fallen and he just seems very like weaselly and very like pathetic. Do you know what I mean? So of course that type of person is going to lash out. And Scheana, with her level of varying degrees of self-esteem, she then internalizes that and and wants to get like the validation back from him, but that was a real friendship for her. So she's losing the friendship of Tom. She's catching a court case. She is then also losing the friendship of Rachel. I don't know why people are trying to be friends with this chick, whatever. Scheana really got the rawest deal, if we're being honest about it. And then anytime Scheana wants to talk about her feelings and about what happened to her in the situation, the internet drags her for making it about herself, and she's jealous of Ariana and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, no, maybe she's a human being who got betrayed by multiple friends, who then caught a court case and had to fight that. And then when anytime she wants to speak up about her feelings in a situation, the internet literally drags her. So I do feel bad for Scheana because, to be honest with you, she got a rawer deal than Ariana did. I'm not saying that what Ariana went through wasn't painful or hurtful, but if we're going to be honest, Ariana knew, whether she wanted to admit it or not, that she was in a loveless, sexless relationship. And she also, and I know that just because you get money out of something or you get brand deals out of something, that doesn't negate the pain. But just on paper situation, she totally got a come up out of this. She got the literal ultimate glow up out of this. Not to say that doesn't take away from being cheated on, being betrayed by someone who you thought were your friend with Rachel. But at the end of the day, Ariana, you only liked Rachel because Tom liked her. The same way you never had Sheena's back. You never had Katie's back. You never had Lala's back. You never had Stas's back. You sure as hell didn't have Kristen's back because you were cheating with Tom when she was with him because of Tom Sandoval. So it's like you were never good to these other women. You were only friends with Rachel because she was friends with Tom. And the gag is she was the girl who was having sex with your boyfriend. So, I mean, hello, you know what I mean? So it just kind of feels like, in my opinion, out of Scandival, I think Scheana got the rawest deal. And I'm not taking away from Ariana's feelings and I'm not taking away from her pain, but I think that it's not shown enough what happened to Scheana too, if that makes sense. So that's why I kind of think like Lala and Scheana have kind of bonded over kind of being like the forgotten ones. And they're still trying to making sure that they can get their bag. Now, Katie, what I think is the core going on between Katie and Lala is this. I think off camera, behind the scenes, Katie feels exactly the same way that Lala and Scheana feel. I think she's probably, talked about Ariana, has vented, has had the same exact concerns, the same exact worries, all of that behind the scenes and privately. But I think that when it comes to Katie, she's scared to say anything publicly because she doesn't want to be dragged. She doesn't want to be canceled. She doesn't want to be called jealous, the way we see that happens with, quite frankly, anybody who says anything about Ariana. People come on my comments to little old me being like, you're jealous of Ariana. Ariana Venom. I'm like, nobody is jealous of Ariana. I just have an opinion about a person who is a public figure. Nobody's jealous of her. So I get why Katie is scared to publicly say anything against Ariana, because if you do that, you're scared you're going to get canceled. I think the same thing happens with James Kennedy. I think James thinks the same that Lala thinks for the majority of things and Scheana, but he's also scared to say anything publicly because they don't want to be canceled. They don't want to be dragged because all of a sudden it's blasphemous to say anything against Ariana. Not when it comes to me, because I'm going to say it how I feel it, how I mean it all the time. So it is what it is. But I think that Lala and probably Scheana feel like, Katie, you need to be honest, like come and like say the truth. There's strength in numbers. Also, I think when it comes to something about her, I think Katie, and something about her is pretty much closed. Oh, I had gotten, I'm so mad. I had gotten screenshots of someone who went by something about her and it like looks completely different now. Like it's a different shop. If those screenshots are current, because I need to go back and do my due diligence and make sure they're current screenshots, but it's pretty much a wrap. Like, I don't think something about her is like not happening. I should go by there and look at it for you guys. Anyway, so yeah, I think that Katie was also really scared to go against Ariana because of something about her. It was Katie's baby. She put her money into it, all of that. So again, I think Katie was not speaking how she truly felt about Ariana because she didn't want the backlash. She didn't want to get canceled. And that's her business partner. Something about her is on the line. I'm thinking it's pretty much dissolved at this point, but we'll see. Also with Katie, again, it goes back to Katie's not willing to let it go either because of her own, I think Ariana aside, because of her own personal beef with Sandoval that we've watched for the last 13 years of how he has systematically gaslit, disrespected, smear campaign against Katie. Now, Katie has her own set of personality issues. She can be difficult, she can be mean, she can be whatever. We all know that. We all know Katie is an acquired taste. We know. That does not take away from the fact that Tom Sandoval has been systematically and pathologically mean and rude and disrespectful to this woman, and that he has not inserted himself into her relationship and subsequent marriage and subsequent divorce from Tom Schwartz. However, I put the biggest onus on Tom Schwartz because the only way that Tom Sandoval is able to divide his relationship with Katie is if Tom Schwartz allows it, right? Like, no one can get between me and my partner unless I let them or unless my partner lets them, right? No one can get between us unless we allow it. So when it comes to that, I understand how Katie is really mad at Tom Sandoval because it's like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be that type of person to try to sabotage your quote best friend or whatever you want to call it relationship because you don't like the person he's with. Because I don't know, do you want to be with him? Is that really what's going on? Do you want to be like, does Sandoval want to be with Schwartz? He's trying to get him to move into the house. Like, is he like, I hate Katie because I want to be Katie? Maybe. Allegedly, in my opinion, who knows? So there's that. But I think that Katie has such a deep disdain and hurt. Like, even like a couple episodes ago when Tom comes in because he's doing his whole like weird emo apology, non-apology tour. And like I said, looking at Tom Sandoval now, he just looks like pathetic because like all the things that made him like Tom Sandoval, like the sheen, the veil has been lifted, all of the mask has fallen. He just looks really, really pathetic. You know, his little temper tantrums and like, you know, go and capitalize off of my pain, Scheana. How dare you make a lyric in your song, Scheana? It's so ridiculous and just really like, it's basically like looking at like a little kid having a temper tantrum. Like, even Schwartz is like, are you done, Tom? Like eat your chicken nuggets and shut up. You know, it's like, are you done? Like, everybody with Tom Sandoval is kind of like that now. He's just like pathetic. And I don't mean that in like a nasty way, because I think it is nasty to call somebody pathetic in like a mean, nasty way. But I mean it in the true sense of the word. Like, he just looks really pathetic, you know? And so there's that. Where was I going with that? Was Katie pathetic? Oh yeah, Katie, tell me about that. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on with Katie. And even in that, oh, that's right. Even in that scene when he was doing his like little like apology tour and he goes in, he's like, Katie, can I talk to you? Like, I really like your hair that way. And she's like, thanks. And he's like, but yeah, I want to like apologize. And she's like, oh, for what? And he's like, yeah, you know, for like your divorce. Like, you had a lot going on. I piled on. She had so much hurt in her. And she was so shocked that he was even apologizing for that. She wasn't emotionally prepared to even have the conversation of him apologizing for the hurt he caused that could have, you know, helped or hindered her getting divorced. She deflected to, oh, yeah, well, you should apologize to Ariana for like having people over. And I don't think she was trying to make it about Ariana, but sometimes when you are in a very emotionally charged situation that you're not emotionally prepared for, your brain will try to protect you from feeling that overwhelm, and you might deflect, or you might numb, or you might deny. And I think she was just like deflecting, because I think it's still so much pain for her. And when Lala says that Katie is unhappy, I agree with that, but I'm not so much sure that she's unhappy, is that I think she might still be in the grieving process of the life she thought she would have. Because even though you might, even like with Ariana, I even give Ariana grace. I understand her being angry and her being pissed and her still grieving the loss and her still being hurt. Like, I understand that. I don't think that she's not entitled to any of those feelings. So sometimes I think that, when you're grieving something, you're grieving a life you thought you had, even if that life was a fantasy, you still on some level, you believed it. And so when that fantasy is burst, when that bubble is burst, when, you find out the emperor has no clothes and you see the wizard and there's no wizard there, you're still mourning the loss of what you thought could be or what you wished could have been. And I think Katie is still mourning all of that. And I think a lot of that pain does come from Tom Sandoval. Tom Schwartz mainly should be to blame, but Tom Sandoval also has blame in that. And so I don't even think she could bring herself to even talk about it. So I think a lot of the reason why Katie is still harping on the Sandoval thing isn't so much because of Ariana, but because of her own pain caused by Tom. And she's like, why is anybody forgiving him? Why is Scheana forgiving him? Lala, why are you talking to him? And then she's doing it under the guise of Ariana, but I think it's under her own, like, well, I hate him so much. You need to hate him too. And why is anybody giving him grace? He never gave me any grace. That type of situation, So I feel like that's kind of like what's going on with all of the girls. And so Ariana is just out here doing her thing. We'll see what happens with that. So I don't know, like, what do you guys think about this? Like, what do you think about the fact that Lala's kind of hinting to, Katie feels the same way I do, but she's scared to say it on camera. And I'm tired of everybody not saying the truth. Why am I the one here left holding the bag? And then, what do you think about Katie basically trying to save something about her, but that's pretty much a wrap, and still harboring everything she has against, Tom, and then, Scheana wanting it to be about her and Ariana not being able to let go. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to our next story. So as if anybody asked her,